My mother has been chronically ill for several years, and within the past 6 months has really, her illness has really gone downhill. She's a diabetic with a severe heart condition, is legally blind. In December, she went into congestive heart failure, but was not coming out as quickly as she had in the past. She then, her condition complicated to the point where her kidneys had failed. Seeing her like that was very hard for me. I had never seen her that ill and that close to death. After the situation had gotten under control, I went home, and that evening I received a call from Dr. Dahlberg stating that your mother's condition is very, very serious. She is dying of kidney failure. I saw her today with the tube down, respirator. I don't know how much more she can take. I phoned my family, and they said, well, she's gone this far, let's go ahead. And I said, that's fine. They've brought her back. We'll do everything we can. So I phoned the doctor back, and I explained this to him. And then his next question to me was, now in this procedure that we're going to be doing, your mother could have another arrest and not make it. What do you want to do? Well, at that point I thought, what are you, telling me? What decision do I have to make? And he explained it in the terms of what was my mother's quality of life. So as I looked at my mother's life for the past 6 months, I didn't feel quality. I looked at her life of being in and out of the hospital, sitting in a chair throughout the day, not getting out. I couldn't call my brothers and sisters back to say, what should I do? I chose to say, no, don't do anything for her. I didn't want to keep her alive just for my own personal reasons or for anything else or to make up for things in the past or whatever. I just felt that her quality of life, it was time, and all the suffering that she's had through her health, it was time to let it go. Well, unfortunately, after she got back on her feet and we discussed a living will as to if something else would happen, she didn't like the idea that she was put on a no code, no resuscitation. And she said she wanted to live a little bit longer. And my reaction to that was, Mother, I did what I felt I needed to do. This was something that we did not discuss. I didn't know how you felt, and it was under an emergency situation. You should never have to be put in a position like I was and make the choice of others. Let them make the choice for themselves. That way, if the choice they make is something they will have to contend with, and no one else will have to.
Life is full of choices. We choose our friends. We choose our careers. We choose whom we marry. We choose what we do with our lives. Just as these are many of life's choices, so are the choices facing us about our future health care. One of these important choices you should make is, how would you like health care decisions to be made on your behalf, should you not be able to make those decisions yourself? That's what advance directives are all about. An advance directive is a statement that tells others how to make healthcare decisions on your behalf when you can't make them yourself. You may have given oral directives before, You may have said things like, "I'd rather die than be hooked up to some machine keeping me alive," or "Life has no meaning if I can't enjoy it." Well, these are understandable requests. They may not help when serious decisions need to be made about your future. These statements may be too vague, may be forgotten, and may not be heard by the people who will make your medical decisions. There are different types of written advance directives. Two of the most common are durable power of attorney for health care and living wills. A living will is a document telling your doctor what you do and don't want medically provided if you become incapacitated. A durable power of attorney for health care is a document designating someone else to make overall health care decisions in the event that you become incapacitated. But before putting your choices in writing, it's most important to talk about your choices with your spouse, with your children, with a close friend, with your doctor.
Heavenly Father, that will strengthen and nourish our bodies.
Talking with a loved one about these issues may not be easy. Even if it's easy for you, it may not be for your family. There may be resistance. There may be denial. Many people are uncomfortable discussing anything to do with death.
There's a difference of age, experience, lifestyle among myself and my brother and two sisters. They have different interests, they have different attitudes about life, they have, in a sense, in some ways, different values even. And we come from the same household. The common thread that brings you together is family. Well, about 3.5, 4 years ago, my mom was diagnosed with TIAs, kind of mini strokes, in a sense that aren't strokes, but set up, I guess, a real stroke to happen. They're blackouts, kind of blood vessels, I guess, popping. Took me the better part of 2.5, 3 years to get up the guts, so to speak, to say, "Mom, let's talk about you dying." It was hard. It was not an easy thing to do. Well, then I began to push the issue of advance directives and living will, and found that my mom nor any of my siblings, my two sisters and brother, were real interested in talking about it. I guess I could use the word denial. It was, nothing's wrong, what are you doing this? I was called insensitive and uncaring, and a lot of name-calling went on, to a point that I felt before Christmas of this past Christmas that I might not speak to my brother or at least one of my sisters ever again. I mean, it was really very ugly. But I guess my mom and my dad both taught us well that you never give up on people that you love. And the door is opened again, and we've begun to talk a bit more. I mean, everyone. Still not easy. My wife and I both considered and talked about this and are in the process of completing advance directives for ourselves. I don't want my kids to be burdened with me. And more importantly for myself, I don't want to be kept alive just to be kept alive. I owe my children more than that. And more importantly, I owe myself more than that. I've lived a full life. I continue to live a full life. I plan on living a longer and even fuller life, but should something happen that's going to stop that, I don't want to just exist. I want to live it.
These issues may be difficult to talk about, but they still must be discussed with your family. It may be up to you to begin this dialogue. It's the most important step of the process. Having these choices spelled out in advance gives you peace of mind. And even more importantly, you won't be placing the burden of making such a difficult decision on your spouse, your parents, or your children. There are many possible situations where an advance directive would be helpful. You're in a tragic car accident. You rush to the hospital and end up in the intensive care unit. You're unconscious. You have significant brain damage. Doctors doubt you'll survive. And if you do, you would remain unconscious with no hope of recovery. Your heart and other organs could be maintained for long periods of time, for years or even decades. Doctors would be able to prolong your life. But what does life mean to you? What would you want done? You wouldn't be able to make a decision for yourself. Someone would have to make this decision for you. Your doctor and your family would be forced to choose. Or imagine living in a nursing home because you no longer can make your own decisions. You have Alzheimer's disease. You don't know who you are, who your family members are. You will never regain your ability to interact with others, and your condition will only get worse over time. The issues facing us at the end of life are stressful and emotionally draining on a family.
My husband was diagnosed as having Alzheimer's in 1983. He has gone from that to a nursing home. Just recently, I've been told that he has a month to a month and a half left to live. Some days are bad, and then again, they're all right. It's very hard to accept at times. We've been married for 40 years, and I would say that most of those years he has always expressed the fact that he never wanted to ever be kept alive on a respirator or with a feeding tube. He wanted the dignity of just simply dying. I discussed this with our children, and they said, "Well, Mom, do you know Dad's feelings?" And I said, "Yes." And they go along with that. I have talked to his family, his brothers and his sisters, and they agree too, because the quality of his life is not there anymore. It simply isn't there. The thing that I really feel strongly about is one's dignity. I myself have seen it where they have no dignity left at times. I don't know if you've ever been into the ICU room, part of the hospital, or and right now my husband is about in that same spot where he's lies in bed in a fetal position, doesn't know me, and I'm sure if he could say today is it, it would be it. But he doesn't have that choice. He just has to wait. And I will not prolong that.
Making choices. You can make your choices in advance. What would be your goals for treatment? Should you at the time be unable to make these decisions on your own? Would your goal be to prolong your life with medical interventions offered by your doctor? Or would your goal be to make sure that you are kept comfortable and maintain the highest level of function available? Thinking things through on your own and then talking them over with your family and doctor are the critical first steps in deciding these issues. When you consider these issues, think about what you would or would not want. Trained professionals are available to help you think through these important choices. Just ask your nurse or doctor, or contact your local healthcare provider, and ask to arrange an appointment with an advanced directives counselor. They understand your concerns and take the time to make you feel as comfortable as possible about the choices you face. Remember, you can decide in advance how you would like your healthcare decisions carried out. The first step is thinking about what you want and talking with your family and doctor about these choices. Then talk with an advanced directives counselor. They are specially trained professionals who are prepared to help you and your family think through these important choices. In the end, It's up to you to make your wishes known, to discuss the issues, and to make a choice, so your loved ones won't have to choose for you.